Greetings, world. It is Sunday, the 27th of August, 2023. Um, Please remember, I'm a clairvoyant, clairaudient psychic, so everything is for entertainment purposes only. And it's kind of funny, I noticed that my numbers dropped down. Yesterday they were like in the mid 480s, and now it's right at 480. So, um, double check if you're a subscriber, or if maybe I lost because, hey, people couldn't handle my bluntness. So I'm not going to worry about it. But those of you who keep returning, yeah, please make sure you click the red boots. That is the subscribe button, and if notifications are turned on. But an easy way to remember is every other day I do a video. I record in the morning, and then I have it set to go up at 4:30 Central Standard Time. The second and the fourth Saturdays of the month, I do a live broadcast, and that is at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you're able just to set your calendar. So today's Sunday, no video on Monday, there'll be a video on Tuesday. Okay, so now that we got all that nonsense, and yeah, upon the suggestion of a lot of people, I do have I did set up the Buy Me a Coffee link, and it's down in the description. And so it's, if you want, actually, you're buying me cream soda. So, A&W cream soda. Uh, yeah, so that's what it goes towards. And some people did buy me a soda yesterday, and so thank you very much. I am not one of these people who is going to be bragging about the names and stuff, because I feel that's actually confidential information. But you probably did get a little notice that I did see it, and I did send you a private note. So thank you very much. Now, I like when I go through the new stuff in the morning, it's like I just start taking notes where I find it. That's where it's going to be. So a little bit is going to be kind of jumbled around, but by this time people should know what I'm doing. Okay. Um, yeah, the one thing that caught my attention right off was GB News made a big announcement about how it's KC3 made a big olive branch to Andrew. Duh. We've all known, or at least I have known, and people like me have known, that there's never been any upset between Charles and Andrew. Yes, there's a big age gap, so of course Charles is going to be closer to Anne because Anne and him are closer in age and went through the same stuff. With not having their parents around because his mom was recently crowned queen. And Andy and Eddie were born 10 plus years later. So, of course, they're going to have a whole different set. Their parents were completely different people by that time. So they were basically raised two different ways. But yeah, they're two different people, but they know they're brothers. And Charles knew that, hey, Anne always had Charles's back. Andy and Eddie did their own thing, and Andy always knew that he would be following more like in the footsteps of his father. Yeah, we've gone over that a gazillion times before, but yeah, Andy takes after his dad in a lot of ways. Royal Navy, learned to fly a lot of stuff, and actually saw true combat action. Something that Charles and William could never do. And now Andy's watching over the family estates. So it's like they said, oh yeah, GB News is going, oh yeah, he made an olive branch. Andy knew he was going up there, hey, since he's never been uninvited. Just The only thing that's changed is that instead of staying in the main castle building, Charles said, hey, we're just, instead of staying in actual Balmoral Castle, how about if you and Sarah, it may be more comfortable for you to be staying in one of the lodges on the property. So that's what's happening. Okay? I mean, a little bit more privacy. It's Sarah's still in recovery mode, so she doesn't need the hustle and bustle of all the nonsense that goes on. And if she needs to not dress up for dinner because she is not feeling up to it, she doesn't have to. She can stay back at the lodge where they're staying at, and they can just have a quiet dinner in front of the TV. So, enough of that nonsense. Now, according to some other sources that I'm like questioning, I guess parents are now coming out and saying we don't want Henry as the spokesperson for the Whale Child charity because he's actually, because of his alleged use of party favors. So, and then also family members of the veterans that participate in the eye games, they're also saying they want Henry to be null and void also because of his behavior. I think this will be his farewell performance for both of those charities. Yeah, this is his swan song for Will Child and the eye games. So some people may have to look up what the definition of swan song is, but it's kind of like came about from Arthur Godfrey. Go do your history. Oh, something else that's, I've been seeing it in so many places. I'm just laughing at it now. The younger kids, the younger generation, are getting really upset because Carlos Santana, okay, he was big 70s, 80s, and what is it? I think it was that guy from Maroon 5 that did a collab with him that brought him back into the forefront and introduced him to the younger kids. Well, Carlos Santana grew up like me. He's a baby boomer. He has zero tolerance for this tranny garbage. And he made his opinions known. Well, the younger kids are going batshit crazy. Well, you know what? I think I am going to go. Yeah, I have him on vinyl, but I think I may end up going and picking up his stuff on CD, so some cash flow goes his way. Just in support. So, hey, people, start downloading, like, from wherever, and let's get Carlos Santana's numbers way up in support of him calling out the tranny bullshit. Now, another thing that's so abhorrent that's all over, it was put up on Twitter on August 24th, or X, and it's the account that it went up on was Jeremy Shaw, MD. It happened on August 24th. He put that clip of that clown saying he wants to have a female reproductive organ transplant. And it just goes downhill from there. I'm like, I would love to find that character that made that initial video. I'd like to get him alone in a room for 5 minutes and give him a piece of my mind. Not anything violent, but I would give him an ear lashing. I think I'd have him in tears. I admit it, it's like when I have to deal with the little punky brats in my area. I do. I blister their eardrums, and I have seen the little boys, little adolescent boys, 13 to 15 years old, cry. Yeah, if an older woman makes a kid cry, that kid is going to remember it for the rest of his life. So I'd like to get face to face with that clown, and I probably would hit within 5 to 10 minutes. I would have him in tears. He may go back to his representing his biological sex. Yeah. Now, okay, yes, I did listen to our favorite Swede this morning, and he's mentioning it's like, yeah, he's saying like, yeah, the USA is a strange neighbor, and there's, yeah, all sorts of new rumors going around that they're going to try and pull a repeat of 2020. Well, yeah, Fauci's replacement is starting to rumble the noise and release the rumors. Well, Fauci's replacement doesn't realize that people now realize that Fauci, that little wop, was a lying fool. Okay? And his replacement, nobody trusts. Like, a lot of people are waking up and seeing, like, this entire donkey admin is nothing but cow poop. So, if they try a repeat of 2020, you're going to have a lot of people, including me, mass mutiny all over the place. And if they keep trying to say, oh, the whatchamacallit is mandatory, you're going to have a lot of people. There's going to be all sorts of alternative underground medical facilities. I mean, there's this there's this film that's out on the streaming channels. It's Hotel something, I like Hotel Artemis. And it's kind of creepy. It's like a hotel that is actually a private hospital in a world that is like ultra controlled. And so if people need medical stuff, they quietly check into these secretive hospitals that masquerade as hotels. Foreshadowing. Yeah, I think that's the correct title of the movie, but when I get done with this, I'll look it up and put it in the comments, or I'll poke around for it and put it on the community page. I turned it on to watch while I was going to sleep one night, and I'm like, God, this thing is whacked. And I did fall asleep, so I didn't see the end of it, but from watching it, I'm like, they're telling what the future is, because a lot of Hollywood does that. Hollywood, they do. They put out movies ahead of time. And people just think, oh, it's just a movie. It's not the real deal. A few years back, yeah, I worked on the movie Contagion. Yep, that was the script for 2020. And they used the Hollywood to get the people out of Tehran. Watch the movie Argo. Argo is actually a remake of a made-for-TV film. So those guys, they just had to bring it out again. So, Manchurian Candidate. That movie was banned for decades. And it was out and about during the 90s. And then all of a sudden it disappeared. And now you have to really look for it to watch it. It's ironic that Jilly Biden kind of really resembles the Angela Lansbury character. That's the movie Manchurian Candidate. Okay? Now, a lot of stuff has been going on in the blue and yellow flag country. Yeah. Because, yeah, okay, where's my notes? Yeah, it's One thing, it's right now they're making a big deal because some guys with wings on their uniforms crossed the Rainbow Bridge. Well, you see, yeah, Jojo, the Jojo donkey admin sent a bunch of F-16s over to the blue and yellow flag country. My sources, my gossip ears that relate to me told me that people weren't going to train these guys very well on how to work those F-16s, okay? And the blue and yellow flag country doesn't have the infrastructure to maintain them. And I know each one of those things has to go through a very detailed pre-use inspection. And the guys that are going to get behind the wheel of it don't know what the hell they're doing. So they just kind of like smash two together. Two down. How many more are they going to trash? So basically, we sent a bunch of things over to the blue and yellow flag country to be put in a trash compactor because they don't know how to use them correctly. They're idiots. And here it's like, yeah, Jojo is Barry is actually, oh, I'm doing you so much good, but you see the guys that Barry thinks he's got everything under control. But nobody respects Barry. Nobody respects Jojo. If push came to ultimate shove, I would not get my knickers in a twist if certain guys from Great Lakes and Lockland and a couple other places decided to join forces and say, we're not listening to you dudes any longer. We're going to take over and run the show. If the right guy doesn't get hired for the job in November 2024, we might have that come February of 25. If we get another one of Barry's puppets in, it would not surprise me if that happened. It would not surprise me at all. But yeah, I mean, even now in the blue and yellow flag country, the prosecutor that was fired on behalf of, I mean, Barry said Barry didn't want Jojo's kid, JJK, to be put on trial because that would expose everything that Barry and Jojo are doing. So, yeah, but now the prosecutor that got terminated to prevent him from exposing, he's now talking. And he's telling the truth. But Jojo, I mean, I think his name ought to be changed to Pinocchio. Because his nose just, every time he lies, his nose just keeps bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, pretty soon it's going to be so long that should he fall face front, that nose is going to break his fall. And he will be falling soon. It's like they're basically going to keep him around because they know that Cammy Poop is a disaster waiting to happen. Unmitigated disaster. And Hilly would be so pissed off if Cammy Poop got the job that Hilly wanted. Yeah, if Cammy Poop gets it, Hilly and Billy are going to start screaming like canaries. Because the donkeys and put Hilly in. And the truth about little Mikey is that is going to come out also, because of the chef's family is not going to stay quiet. They've got the notes. They've got the diaries. It will all come out. Now, something else that you need to kind of take notice of. There's been explosions out around a lot of places. Most recently, in Bucharest, Romania, there's a lot of national gas pipelines all over the place. So in Europe, they're going to start going boom, boom. The first one went off in Bucharest. Just a little bit has been announced about it, but yeah, they're going to start happening all over the place, okay? More and more things. Now, we really have to keep attention on the Big Red Sea. Word out is that the Big Red Sea is starting to close itself off. They're going to try and bring things back to the way things were pre-Nixon visit era. Yeah, Nixon visited when it was still called Peking, back in the very early 70s. And the Mr. Ping Pong Ball, who runs the Big Red Sea, is now wanting to shut the country, lock down the borders, and not let any of the outside world come in. And they're also going to start stockpiling, because they know that there have been so many floods and a lot of weather manipulation in the Big Red Sea from other places, that a food shortage in the Big Red Sea is quite possible. Extremely possible. But we know the Big Red Sea really wants to get their hands on Australia, because there's a lot of natural resources in Australia, and it's the Big Red Sea is getting overpopulated, so they need more room for expansion. So yeah, Big Red Sea wants Taiwan and all those island nations going down, so they want that whole section of the Pacific Islands and the continent of Australia. That's what the Big Red Sea's goal plan is. And it's becoming more and more apparent, because I mentioned several days ago about how several countries are doing practice runs in the ocean around Australia. Well, I guess there's an island that is semi-close to Darwin, that city in Australia, and something happened. And we need to send prayers for the 3 Marines that were killed and prayers for the 5 that are injured. Something happened while they were doing practice runs. I don't think it's a real practice run. I think it's the real deal, but it's being hidden from the rest of us, hidden from everybody. And a lot of the news coming out of Australia is it's very clouded. It's not the truth. So stuff is coming. I think they're not practice. I think it's the real deal. Now, something that I'm kind of laughing about is, okay, I'm older, I admit it. Hey, baby boomers. One of the guys that we all used to listen to, Eric Clapton. Yeah. On Dave's channel, The Real Music Observer, take your time and go listen to his interview with Eric Clapton. Very, very intelligent Brit. Yeah. Yeah. You want to listen to him. I mean, Eric explains things in a really good format, and he's actually had a few face-to-face sit-downs with Bobby Jr. Well, yeah, a lot of I'll say it, the old hippies, they were into Eric, and the old hippies tend to be donkeys. So Eric Clapton is doing his bit to get the donkey hippies away from the left-wing idiots to the conservative side. So they're going to realize, hey, it's like Eric Clapton, our idol. Oh, he's tight with Bobby Jr. and Bobby Jr. is a Democrat. Maybe we should vote for him instead of Jojo. You see, there is a method to his madness. And the full interview is on, like I said, Real Music Observer. Something else that's going on. Yeah, we all know that they had the BRICS thing down in South Africa. And China is, yes, Big Red Sea is trying to pull their shit. I cover enough of that. Well, yeah, Vlad is involved, but Vlad is really tough. And he's the good guy. Well, one of the other things is that they sent this guy with a very thick Eastern European accent, Eastern European language skills, to do the trade negotiations with India. EU trade negotiations with India. I mean, okay, not to make fun, but we know how people speak in the country of India. Then throw him with a guy who has a very thick Eastern European accent, a Slavic accent in first language. And the two of them are trying to negotiate the trade deal. I'm like wondering, how in hell are either one of them understanding what the other person is saying? So there's like big, massive, like slowdowns. They're saying, oh, it's because of substance over deadlines. No, it's because the two guys can't understand what the other guy is saying. I mean, I watched part of it, and I mean it was like a splurt alert on the keyboard. So it's someone in the EU. It's just another example of how clumsy, stupid, incompetent the EU really is. Totally. And it's yeah. And the final thing that I saw this morning, I'm just laughing at. It's like I said before, Jojo, his nose just keeps on growing. I think we got to start calling this dude Pinocchio, Sleepy Pinocchio. Because now he's claiming that he had no, oh, well, yeah, he's making the claims that he had nothing to do with the DOJ. We know that Pinocchio, he doesn't have the brain cells. He no longer has the comprehension to do something like that. I mean, the guy was nothing but a lech anyway. All he was looking for was for another female's ass to grab. Okay? Or to cop a feel up front. That's Jojo. And so I guess Barry is in control of the DOJ. So Jojo can lie, saying, Jojo can say, hey, I had nothing to do with it. But it's all Barry. Barry is the one. And you know what? It's called We can't even think the last time Barry set foot in Illinois. But he still has a freaking house down by University of Chicago that has to have 24/7 squad cars. I wonder how much dust is on the banisters of that house. I'll have to check with my CPD friends. But it's Sunday. I hope everybody has a great evening tonight. I'll have a video up on Tuesday for you. And have a good one, folks. I'll be talking to you later. Bye-bye.